Thanks for checking in, guys. Well, I've got Cowboy here with us, and today is his 16th ride. So he's come a long way since the last time you saw him. He's doing very well. There's a lot of things that I really like about this horse. He's got one of the funniest personalities you guys will ever see. He's so mischievous. He always is looking to get into trouble and be silly, and he just makes me laugh every single day I'm with him. It's pretty hilarious. On top of that, though, while we're riding, he's pretty lazy, pretty mellow, which helps us in a lot of ways. He's got a beautiful slow little lope. He really likes to take it slow and easy. He's got a lot of athletic ability, but bringing it out of him is going to be a challenge because he is so lazy, doesn't really like to put in a lot of effort. So some of the things that I'm going to show you guys today is what we're working on to get him to be a little more athletic. But besides that, it's just stick with the program, get him soft, supple, relaxed, confident. So we'll start out just like we did with the last one. He's kind of falling asleep right there, and that's not a big deal. Just flexing him back and forth, making sure he's light, and he is. This horse is pretty light laterally. He's pretty good off my leg, but not great off my leg just yet, and that's not a problem. That's just something we're going to work at over time. He's pretty light, but like I said, he has a tendency to get a little heavy, and he is big-bodied, real strong and compact. And normally that type of horse does have a little harder time getting off your leg at the beginning. I'll check him out vertically as well. Like I was explaining with that Palomino colt, this horse, the way he's built, you can just see he carries his neck very low, and that's how it's built out of him. So his headset is going to be a lot lower in the end than Loki's will be. And that's okay. He can carry it that way and still be collected, whereas Loki just can't do that because of the way that he's built. So I'm not really concerned. Their head doesn't have to be in one spot. Every horse is going to be just a little bit different. What I'm concerned about right now is that he's off my hands, and there he goes. So let's start walking him around, suppling him up, get him bent up around my inside leg. This horse has a little bit of easier time bending, so what you'll notice I'm doing is I'll let him make a mistake and straighten his head, but as soon as he does like that, I'll just bump his nose back around. So I'm not just kind of holding and keeping him there and showing him the right answer anymore, because he knows the right answer and he's pretty good at it. So what I'll tell him is the right answer feels great, but you're running into pressure when you find the wrong answer. So I want him to say, oh, well, I really like to keep my nose there. Wherever he tells me to put it at the beginning, that's where I'm just going to keep it. There we go. Right rein, right leg. Pull it around. Every time I bump, my leg comes on for a split second. Every time I'm relaxed, my leg comes off. I want him to carry this shape, bend his rib cage all by himself. That feels pretty good right there to the right. And I love to use this exercise to help him with his shoulder control as well. So it's bend the rib cage, then switch legs, and have the shoulders come through. Much too lazy for me, so I'm going to give him a cluck. That didn't work, so now I'm going to start kicking real gently with my right leg, and then I'll apply this dressage whip a little bit too. Wait until he gives me a little effort. And still waiting. He went forward out of it. All I did was pull him back in. Let's go ahead and bend him back out. What I might try with him is trotting him in a circle. He's so kind of slow and lazy about it that this trot might help him pick up that cadence a little bit. Neck rein, bring him over. Wait till he finds it. I'm going to give him a pretty good little kick right here. He's just not putting in the effort. There we go. I gave him a couple kicks, didn't do much, and then I gave him a dressage. I used the dressage whip on his shoulder, and that helped. Pin him in the circle. Bring the shoulders through. It's a little bit better right there. Still very, very lazy, but that's where he's at this time. I can't compare him to another horse, so I need to keep him in control with himself. Whatever he's doing, I need to make that better. Give him a little kick. Get it around. Come on, take care of your feet. There we go. He gets a little sucked back at times too, so I have to make sure I'm not ending it if he's too much on his hindquarters. I'll only end it once he starts stepping over and across. There we go. And trot him back into it. Neck rein. Close that door on the left. A little bit better right there. So this isn't his strong suit. This was something that he even struggled with on the ground when we got started, was finding where his feet should go and kind of keeping some energy in it. So I'm not making a big deal. As long as I can get it a little bit better every day or so, we're going to be okay. But I do need him to put in the effort. Good boy. Also work on getting him collected up at the trot. Squeeze with my legs, pull with the reins. If he wants to slow down too much, I just squeeze, cluck, cluck, cluck. Wait until he feels soft. You gotta maintain that forward, Cowboy. There we go. Every now and again when he's gaping his mouth and everything, at this stage, at this early in his career, I just don't worry about that at all. The reason why he's gaping his mouth is because he's not quite as soft as he needs to be yet, or not quite as sure what the answer is. So he's thinking maybe if I gape my mouth open, the pressure will go away. Eventually he's gonna learn that the only time the pressure goes away is when he softens up that chin. And then that mouth won't be opening anymore. So I just don't worry about it. Squeeze with my legs, drive him up in there. Really like how his body is compressing right there. That felt really, really nice. Whoa, good boy. So after I've worked on some things like that, I'll go ahead and get him off my legs. Do a leg yield off my left leg. See how he's kind of stalling out right here? This is where I'll use this dressage whip. In combination, now I'll roll my spur as well. There we go. Good boy. So if he's leaning on my calf, I need to back it up with something else. That's the reason you wear spurs or ride with a dressage whip. If that leg has no meaning to the horse, then you have to have something else to go to. So let's walk towards the camera right here. Left leg on him. He's kind of leaning against it. Roll that spur. Tap back here. His butt's lagging just a touch. There we go. So another reason why I really like to use that dressage whip is because if one part of the body's lagging, I don't want to have to like really take my leg all over the place, but I do want to be able to just tap, tap, tap and say, please catch that up. Let's try again. Take that left leg on him. Getting a little lazy here, tap him over. Good boy. So what I'm looking for is for him to get light off of my leg, really try to get off of that pressure. I haven't done this yet with him at the trot because he's just not quite ready to go there. I'll keep on working it at the walk, and then when it gets good enough and energetic enough, I'll go to the trot. But if it's this quality, which is fine, you know, he's not doing bad by any means, it's just, it is where it is. But once it gets better, then I'll go ahead and start. It needs to be really, really light at the walk before you start asking for it at the trot. Let's go right leg. He's kind of dying on me here. There we go. There we go. So I took a couple little rolls with my spur and a couple taps with that dressage whip to have him understand he needs to get off of that. Pressing with my calf. He's dying again. Squeeze. Plug. Drive him. Drive him. Get off of this, please. There we go. Right leg. Good. All it takes is a couple good steps, and then I'll reward him. Tap, tap, tap that butt. There we go. That butt was lagging, so I needed to catch it up. I'll go ahead and lope some circles on him as well. Just like that last one, I'll kind of have that neck rein just gently on his neck, and that says stay in that circle. If he leaves it, like he kind of is right there, I'll just bring him back in it. Focus on my circle. Feels really good. He's got a real nice lope to him. He stays pretty collected all by himself. Just kind of leaving it. There we go. He's leaving it just a little bit. There we go. While we're going in the circle, squeeze him with my legs, drive him up into that bridle. He's kind of thinking I want him to slow down or stop. So I just squeezed him a little more with those legs and drove him up into it. Squeeze him. Waiting until his body compresses and he gets soft. There we go. Good boy. Thinking of dying down again. See what I mean? This horse just makes me laugh. He's so lazy, but he's funny about it. I'm not too worried about it either, that he is so lazy. This is only a 16th ride. Everything's going to get better and better. There, that felt really good. After I get by you, go ahead and drive him into a stop. Whoa. Good boy. Back him up a couple steps here. You know, he'll stop every time for you because he's just begging you to stop the whole time anyway, as you saw. But he doesn't really drive into that stop how I'd like him. And there's a couple of exercises that I can do to fix that. And I'm going to show you one of them here in a second. While you're standing still, always a good idea to just move your tools around, flap your legs. All this stuff doesn't mean much. Good boy, Cowboy. All right, so the exercise I'll use to get him on his hind end a little bit better and really driving into that stop is I'll use the fence and help me do rollbacks. And the reason that it works so well is because the fence I'm going to use as a barrier, and I'm going to turn him into the fence at a 45-degree angle, and I'm going to let the fence do the work for me. So as I come up around, I'm going to make a couple of circles, and I'm going to do it at the low because he doesn't need any work going slow. He needs to get up and moving. So I'll wait until I come into this angle right here. I'll tell him whoa. I'll pull that rein in there and let that gap of the fence do the work for me. So he has two options: stop, get on his hind end, and move his front end through, or run into the fence, where hopefully this horse won't think the fence will just move for him like he thinks everything else will. So it's here, tell him whoa, pull him into the fence, get that front end moving around. So if he's leaning in like he is there, I'll just kind of kick him with that right leg and get him out of that. So I'll go ahead and speed it up for you. This will really help, and you'll see too, when I stop him right there at that angle, he'll have to get on his hind end so his front end can lighten up and get through, and that's why this works so well. So you just want to make as many circles as it takes until they stop anticipating the turn. About 2 to 3 circles on average usually does the trick. Come up close to the fence every time, and then turn away. I like to usually draw a round pin in my head that's about the size of the circle I want to make. Cool. Get him out of there. So I told him whoa, and I pulled on that right rein, and he really wasn't moving his shoulders like I like. So I kicked him with that left foot and said, get those shoulders through there. So come up here, get my angle, and get him out. Very good. That one felt pretty nice right there. I asked him to get off of that leg, and he just came off of it. I'm trying to basically think of the circle that I want him to be on, taking him in it, and then releasing and letting him do it on a loose rein by himself. I don't want to hold. I want to put him in there, release. Put him in there, release. Find my angle. Get him through. So he kind of got his head in the wrong position, got it over the fence. Not a big deal, just keep on going around. Ideally, the fence that you're using is high enough that they can't view that, but you do your best with what you have. And it's not a big deal anyway, they'll figure it out. Find my angle. A little lazy coming out, so I used my dressage whip back here, tapped him on the butt and said, let's hustle. If they don't have any impulsion leaving the circle, they're probably not going to have a good rollback. But if they think they got to get out and back into that circle in the new direction, they're going to hustle up and lighten that front end and get out of there. So that last little bit, he really lifted his front end and tried to get out of there. That was good. He's a little lazy at first, and then he really picked up his front end. If the front end is lifted and light, the back end's going to be nice and strong. Drive him out. Good boy. Little lazy in that direction. I just want to be able to keep doing this until I feel his hind end getting consistently a little bit stronger. So he got stuck again. What I'm going to do next time on that angle is I'm going to kick him a little bit more with that leg and say, look, you just don't have time to be messing with your head like that. He just had a little too much time right there because I'm being a little bit lenient on him. But he needs to know he's got to hustle and get in that turn. Hustle. Good boy. A little bit better going in that direction. Come around here. I'm really gonna try to hustle him through here. We'll get through. This is gonna be good for this horse in the long run, not only just to use his hindquarters a little bit better, but just to get a little more energy and some hustle into him. He just has too much of a good time taking it easy, which is good on some points. But in other cases, like you saw with this spin and a couple other things, he just gets a little bit too lazy. So those will be things that we'll need to work on over time to get him better at. Cool. Let's bring him out here. Cool. A lot better right there. So that last turn into the fence, he really used himself pretty nice right there. So I wanted to do is bring him up here, tell him that word, and he stopped, and it was a lot nicer than it was just a few minutes ago. So this is when he needs to rest right here. Good boy. So you see, every horse has their pros and cons about them. His pro is he's really confident, he's really easygoing, easy to get along with. The con about him is he's just so lazy that getting him to put a lot of effort into things isn't too easy. And as well as not just the fact that he doesn't put a lot of effort into it, it's actually hard to get him to put effort in because he's pretty dull. You know, a couple good kicks and the dressage whip, he kind of brushes it off sometimes. So your timing has to be really good with the horse like this. And the thing is, you have to just give him, every time that he gives that effort, reward it. Because if he feels that he's putting an effort and you're not rewarding, he's just going to get lazier and lazier because he says, well, screw you then. If you're not rewarding me when I try, I'm not going to try anymore. And he's so thick-skinned that he'll just ignore you forever. Even if it's a tiny, tiny, tiny little effort and you're going in the right direction, reward them and just say it may take, 3 months to get something that you thought might get done in 2 months. That's not a problem at all, as long as you're going in the right direction. Every horse develops at a different rate, and that's fine. And really, this horse everything that he's doing is very nice. I like where he is, but I just want to be very clear with these lazy horses. If you're not rewarding those small bits of effort, it's not going to get any better. So keep that in mind, you guys, and I'm glad that I was able to show you Cowboy and how he's doing today, and hope you enjoyed, and I will look forward to seeing you next time. Have a good one.